And hello, today we're looking at a very special Zoom recorder, which is the Zoom R4. Before we get into it, we're going to look at some others, and I'm going to tell you why the R4 is different. But of course, before we really dive into it, we're first going to say thank you to Zoom for commissioning this video. And we're going to take it out of the box so you see how it's packaged. And that is special this time around.
The street is getting loud. Stop talking, start to give us the alternative.
So you could see why it's special. It seems that Zoom has changed all their packaging to not be nice and shiny and colorful and be very basic and only include the most necessary things, which makes packaging smaller, but also only cardboard, no foam, no anything. So these new recorders come, environmentally friendly. So let's go into recorders. The Zoom H6 and similar ones have been a staple in the industry. And I have, I think, 2 or 3 H6s, and I love them. But I prefer the F series because these are, well, they have the Bluetooth option with the app. I have the F8. This is the F6, which is primarily for under-camera use, and it only has XLR inputs, not combo inputs. This is the F3, even smaller, 2 inputs, super convenient and small, can be powered with a built-in battery, right there, 2 of them. We actually have this on the island. The good thing about these is 32-bit recording. This can actually also be powered with a NPF Sony battery. Now, 32-bit recording means almost impossible to clip. Actually impossible to clip because there's so much digital headroom. Now on this one, you don't really even have input levels. This one you do have input levels. And now these have 32-bit recording. It's a bit crazy, but the H6 Essential, clocking in, I think, 350, doesn't have gains. Now here's a Zoom H8. Now you can see I have this on a clamp, so I can actually put this on a mic stand or something, and it's great. I've recorded concerts with that, with the built-in and also interchangeable mic capsules. You can have a shotgun mic and all that stuff. This is great to record. This also has a podcast mode because it has, get this, these mics plus 6 XLR inputs, 2 of which, these 2, are combo inputs. But you can see there's still gains on it. This is not 32-bit. This is a pretty damn cool tool, that rhymes, for concert recording, for a podcast recording. It got a little, I think this is a touch screen if I get this correctly. And it also has the Bluetooth option here. Yes. But since I got the H6 Essential, 4 inputs, also, can never remember how you slide it, built-in interchangeable mics, but a different system now, you just turn on the mics. So you turn this on. It's pretty crazy that this fully works. So down here you see the waveforms, and then you see on top of here the lights are on. You turn on which channels you want active. Bob's your uncle, you're done. There's no gains. There's no internal gains. You navigate with a little wheel, which isn't perfect, but you don't have to do massive navigating. It's more like turning channel 1 and 2, for example, into stereo linked mode and stuff like this, or, you know, looking at a file or whatever. But the operation is put it down, turn on internal mic, hit record. You're done. I used my binaural mics with this. Plug in, 1 and 2, link, record. Level, perfection. I've used it for weeks now. Perfection. Put it in front of an acoustic guitar. Perfection. 32-bit recording means endless headroom, technically, or virtually endless. But then just say, we'll make it easy for people. No more gains. We'll do this. And you don't have to worry about it. You'd think that can't work, but it freaking does. Now, what all of these don't do is multi-track recording. Huh? Well, yeah, they record multiple tracks, but they're not for music production to go back and add a track and then add a track. They're not multi-track recorders. They are multiple track Huh? I don't even know the words. Now this is a multi-track recorder. The R4 is a very light little piece of plastic. You don't think this can be good, but you're holding it, and I mean these tiny, tiny little faders. But you know what? It is massively impressive. It's a 4-track multi-track recorder. So you record one track, you go back, record another track, go back, record another track. It has built-in drums that work great. It has built-in mic preamp simulations. It has built-in amp simulations for electric guitar, built-in bass amp simulations, built-in effects. So you've got a 4-track recorder, but that doesn't mean you can only record 4 tracks. Once your 4 tracks are full, you bounce it to a stereo track, which then appears separately. Then you record 4 tracks again. Bounce those with the stereo track, then you have 8 tracks recorded. You always add 4 more tracks. But in the end, you have all individual tracks on the micro SD card to mix as you please, which I will show you later. That's pretty impressive. 32-bit recording. All the effects can only be applied to input A or to the built-in mic. Yes, it also has a tiny built-in mic, and you're going to say, that can't sound good. I tracked acoustic guitar with it. Yes, it does. Put it on the table, play, you're done. B, no processing applied, so you can go in stereo, or at the same time, sing here, play acoustic here, sing here, play something here. But again, on B, you don't have the effects applied. Runs on 4 batteries. Yeah, the whole thing is 200-something bucks. Now, why would you need that? Well, you can record on a tablet or your phone. There's Cubase on these. It's absolutely possible. However, you need some kind of audio interface and a cable, and the interfaces are better than this in terms of touchscreen and all that stuff. But it might be too complex. You might not want to do that. Personally, I don't like recording on my phone or my iPad. Technology is there, but it's just not, I don't like it. But if you want to record on a computer, then, you know, you have computer and a screen and an interface and a cable, and you have to do all of that. But maybe sometimes you just want something that captures your ideas really quickly without a lot of fuss. Put this on the table, use a built-in mic, play acoustic guitar, go back to 0, do it again, sing into it again, sing into it again, 3-part harmony, play some bass into it, play some electric guitar, and you have a demo that actually really doesn't sound that bad. Now, I'm going to show you how to operate it. I'm going to, oh, by the way, yeah, let's not forget that USB-C can power it, but also it turns into an audio interface for your tablet or phone or for your computer. So at 200-something bucks, I think 230 bucks or whatever, this is also a 2-channel audio interface. That's pretty crazy. I'm going to show you the whole thing. You're going to hear tracks that are recorded with it. And then I'm going to tell you pros and cons. Now let's look at the general operation and menu structure. It is a bit annoying to do this without a touch screen. And when you are changing effects on the effects page, oh, no, not on here on the effects page, you're recording something, there's no way to preset anything, you're setting it up, you're recording your vocals, but then you have to go enter, change things around, you know, do all this and change it around to a different one and do this every single time. It's not ideal. It would be nice to be able to make presets. I mean, I can, you know, check, but it would be nice to make presets for these. Oops, no, that's not what I wanted to do. Enter, move over, and also turn that off. Presets for, that's my guitar, that's my bass, that's my voice, would be nice. But maybe we're just asking too much of a thing that costs a bit over 200 bucks. It probably wouldn't be fair to ask that of it, right? So you go into this and set up an effect that is only for channel A. Channel B is always direct. When you hit an input, all you do is select which input is being used. So just by clicking here, I can't select anything because I only have 2 inputs. So input B now with phantom power off. Input B, input, oh wait. Off. So let's say I want input A here, phantom power, input B, and input A is also for the internal mic, which can also have effects on it. So let's say we're selecting input A here and input B here. That's how you do that. Fairly simple. Now we're in playback mode again. We got nothing recorded. Rewind, fast forward. Undo is a nice thing if you just, you know, recorded crap. Bounce is the really cool thing. If all 4 tracks are full, you're bouncing down to a stereo track, which will appear on the right. I'm going to show you. So here I have a project that already has been bounced. So if I click play, so what you're hearing there is a stereo track of the 4 tracks I recorded. It was an acoustic guitar with a built-in mic, some guitars, and the built-in drums. That's been bounced to the now appearing bounce track. I can now layer 4 more tracks on that, bounce again, and then I have 8 tracks, and I can layer 4 more tracks. So right now there's no bass, because that would have been a 5th track, and you can see I can actually bring that in here. The cool thing is, all the individual tracks are there. I can take the SD card, throw it into a DAW, and mix it later with as many tracks as I want. I just always have to bounce again to have access to 4 more. You could do a 20-track recording with this if you wanted to. Just always bounce 4, make sure they're mixed. Now, when you're bouncing, it is either saying quick bounce, which means it'll just take the settings where the faders are and bounce it down, or you're doing a real-time bounce, at which point you're actually moving the faders up and down and you're mixing in real time. If you really wanted to do a fade for something, bring a guitar in, you could, but that's real time and then it's bouncing that. Always use the back or the enter effect. We covered that. When you hit an input, we covered that. What happens when you hit rhythm? We can turn that on, which means when you're now playing, it is playing that rhythm. It is just a simple beat, which of course you can change. But for this sequence, I already used the rhythm, so I don't think that's going to make an awful lot of sense. It automatically also turns it off once you've bounced it. But here you're changing your patterns. For a demo, that is fine. For anything else, you might want to use a drum computer. So there's your tempo. There's your volume, and you want to pre-count. When you're hitting record, it actually pre-counts. Let me go into a new sequence here. Bam! Option, make a new project. There you go. What does rock sound like? I want the pre-count. Oh, you will get fed up with these up and down buttons. But again, it's, 200 something bucks. So go back. If I now gonna hit input A, and now I hit record, double-clicking stop will bring you back to 0. Took me a while to figure that out. And now you can mix it. That really doesn't sound like shit, doesn't it? And now you go bounce it. Then it's done. We got it on a stereo track, and now we can layer vocals or whatever else you want to do. So now you got 4 tracks at your disposal again. And you have the individual tracks. Okay, let's look into that. If you wanted to, you could actually replace an individual track with any track you've recorded on that card, which is pretty crazy. So you could have track versions or variations if you wanted to. So you're holding Option, you make a new project, there's a tuner, there's the settings, and here are the files. So right now for track 1, I could say, go to the first project that I ever recorded, use the bounce, or use this wave, okay? Which is very likely. I don't have a fader for the bounce track, by the way. That's kind of bad. So that's going to be an acoustic guitar, I think. Of course it doesn't work because it's an acoustic guitar. There is no fader for the bounce, which is kind of, okay. But you can replace any track you want. And you go to whatever track, you go to the project, or even go to the SD card, and there are all the tracks on there that were recorded on that card. Here are some stuff I recorded with the H6 actually, and I could put that on there. Why is that? So that you can, for example, put a backing track on there and play to the backing track, or anything you recorded, you can place that on a track and then build tracks on it. So if your friend sends you something, you don't want to deal with the DAW, you can load that on there, put it on the card, you can load that onto a track, and then work from that. This is pretty damn dope. So under settings, that's the last thing we have to look at, you can of course pick what project to load, or export everything, delete certain files if you need to make space. This is where you set up your reverb and delay. You know, so it's basic, but that's fine. And that is for the reverb and delay used in the mixer. So that's like master reverb and delay. Format card, how much time you've got remaining. You can, of course, use it as an audio interface, which is completely crazy. USB-C audio interface included in the 200 and something bucks. And you can also, with USB-C, move files onto it or from it. Even mobile device with a phone. How do you even, this is so much stuff. Blah, blah, all this stuff, auto powering off. It's a very impressive little box. I could show you, let's do this. I was going to show you how to record with a built-in mic, but we're not going to do that. I'm just going to show you the file that I recorded, which is pretty damn dope. My first project from the first one. I think you can probably rename those two. Should be track number 3. Now it's loading it onto track number 1. Yeah, folks, that's the little mic that's right here. There's the switch by the, oh, can't see it. There's a switch, by the way, whether you're using the built-in cable, the plug, or the built-in mic for track number A, which also can be, the mic can also receive the built-in plugins. You can sing into that directly, you can play guitar into it directly with headphones on and a groove, put some bass onto it. That sound for the tiny little mic is pretty damn impressive. So, let's go back to me. Now that we looked at how the operation works, we're going to go into the guitar amps and bass amps, and we're going to check out how good those sounds are. Okay, let's look at the effects and built-in processing that you can do on channel A of the R4. So you see in the tracks right here, and by hitting input, I can arm the track with one input A, and now I can edit that to input B with phantom power and off. So if I go to input A, you can now, on this page for track, you can EQ it, mix it, hit input, now you're inputting. And under it, you've seen it, there's an effect button, and I click that, and now the effect is off. That's only on input 1, or A. Let's see what it holds in store. There are preamp effects. So if I click up here, no, I hit enter, preamp 1, that's a 1073, so that's for mics. And I've tried them, this is all fine, we're gonna skip that because this is a guitar channel. There's a couple of different ones. And now we're gonna get to guitar. Actually, let me turn it off. I'm gonna show you the DI guitar signal with this voila. Boring, of course. That's really not bad for a built-in guitar amp in a little recorder. So if I hit enter, I can navigate here and change the settings. How do I tune the guitar? Well, you're holding stop, which is option. Well, actually, first I have to get out of here. You hold stop, and there's a tuner. Now that's not the best tuner in the world, but it's there. You always have to hit enter, and then you're changing it. So we're moving on. I mean, so many. We can't even go through all this. Where are the reverbs? Interesting that there's no reverb. Well, because there's a reverb on the channel, maybe? Let's keep the delay on. We're a bit out of tune, but that's not the point here. Bass amp. Ooh, okay. So there is quite a bit of stuff in this thing. Pretty damn impressive. Okay, my quick 2 cents. To have this with you, to capture ideas, and just go layer something else, and say, hey, by the way, vocalist, look, that's my idea, or you're a vocalist, or whoever. You just communicate ideas, multi-tracked, while on a boat, while on a meadow, while on a mountaintop. It's pretty damn awesome, especially for the price point. Now, downsides. Downside number 1 is the tiny little faders. Not because they feel flimsy, but they are very finicky when it comes to level. So you're like, half a millimeter is already maybe a little bit too much level. So you're really trying to mix very carefully, and it's easy to push them up and be way too loud. Okay, I don't think they need the massive range. Maybe there's a way to do a limit fader range, and then you have more fine-tuning ability. So that's a little bit finicky. Now, I would like to bitch about the no touchscreen, but again, it is 200 and something bucks. And on the other hand, having a touchscreen of this size wouldn't work, okay? It would just be way too tiny. So do I bitch about the no touchscreen? No, because it would be too tiny. Also, if I wanted to operate it with the touchscreen, there are phone apps to do that. But I don't want a phone, I want this. That's the whole idea, not to work with a phone. But having to push effect and then use the 4 buttons underneath to go up, down, enter, back, up, down, enter, back. Then you sing or you play guitar and you want to change that. And you go up, down, enter, back, up, down, enter, back, up, down, enter, back. Changing the input parameters is a bit annoying. As I said in the video, I really wish there was a preset list you could make for yourself of that's my guitar sound, that's my acoustic sound, that's my vocal chain. Just have different kind of chains that you set up for yourself in a preset list. The rhythms are fine. Range on the faders. Operation with a no touch screen. Again, I don't think a touch screen would work. And you're using this because you don't want to fiddle with your phone. But you're gonna get annoyed quickly with the up, down, back, enter, up, down, back, enter. So that's it. And the output. The only output it has is either USB to a computer or the headphone out. Now, I get that when you're on the go, you might want to only use headphones. And of course, you can use a headphone out like I did with an adapter, mini jack to stereo to go into speakers or whatever. But I wish it had 2 big outputs so I can go to speakers on the table. Okay, I've showed you this thing in my Kali Audio LP UNF video, because you can actually use those LP UNF speakers for 350 bucks and this, and they have a mobile studio, and that's really, really cool.
Pretty cool.
So I wish it didn't only have the headphone out. It works, but it feels like it's got the big pluggies. It should have 2 big pluggies up here to go to actual speakers, which you can do with this, but I wish it had, some extra set of speak outs. It's very impressive. And again, this is a studio with effects, 4 tracks, and then some 4 tracks and 4 tracks and 4 tracks for 200 something bucks. So even for someone with a DAW, even for someone with a computer, whatever, having this on you and quickly collect ideas with your friend Songwriting and not be bogged down by the whole DAW setup. If it was more expensive, and Zoom has bigger things with faders and, multi-track studios, yeah, okay, if you want to. But as an idea machine, this is really cool, especially for people that don't want to get into production and learning Cubase and Logic and all that stuff. So if you want to capture your ideas and layer them, check out the Zoom R4. Also, again, 32-bit, holy crap. And if you want to record multiple tracks at the same time and not add later, with built-in stereo miking or other miking options which you can attach, the Zoom H6, I think there's also an H4 and a small one. Now with 32-bit recording, very impressive. Thank you, Zoom, for your trust in me. You see, I'm stocked with Zoom. But I use those things all the time. I've used this excessively since I got it, because it's easy. Thanks for watching. I put links below. Please use them. That really supports what I do on the channel. If you shop at Sweetwater, Anderton, Thomann, anywhere, use my links. Thank you so much. And animals at the end.